We finally get our hands on DeWalt's 12V XTREME cordless ratchets. Let's see how they do. We have the DeWalt DCF503, which is a 3/8 drive cordless 12V XTREME ratchet, and the DCF504, which is the 1/4" drive 12V XTREME cordless ratchet. They both run a brushless motor. They're pretty much twins, other than the head is a little bit different size. And the 1/4" drive is going to be rated at 40 foot-pounds, and the 3/8 drive rated at 60 foot-pounds. Now, I'm typically not too concerned about torque in a ratchet, and I'll explain that to you here in a few moments. And so I don't really expect to hit those numbers. Most of the cordless ratchets don't get anywhere close to their rated numbers. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at the features on these. We'll take them over to our test rig. We'll see how close we do get. Then we'll come back and talk about what we think about it, pricing, and warranty. These are the DeWalt XTREME subcompact brushless ratchets. Now, the XTREME series runs on their 12V platform, and we've got the 1/4" and the 3/8 drive. Now, the DCF504 is the 1/4", and the DCF503 is the 3/8" drive. The 1/4" is supposed to have 40 foot-pounds of torque, and the larger 3/8 drive is supposed to have 60 foot-pounds of torque, and we'll be trying that out here in a few moments. Now, the 1/4" head is quite a bit smaller than the 3/8 drive head, and we'll take our measurements off of this in just a moment and show you. But as far as length of the tool, they're pretty much identical, other than just that head size being a little larger on the 3/8 does make it a little longer, and obviously going to be a little wider right up here as well. Other than that, the bodies are identical, so you get a nice rubber overmold here where you can handle the tool, and the battery is going to run obviously a slide-on style. It's going to slide on back there, and we'll slide those on here in one moment as well. We get an LED light on both of these. You also get more of a trigger style rather than a paddle style with a lock here. So if you throw this in your drawer, you got the lock on there to keep that trigger from being pushed. And so I can slide that up, and now I can pull that trigger. You can see the trigger's about 2 fingers wide, so you can grasp this in several different ways to be able to apply that trigger, or apply that button to turn the ratchet on. And it is a variable style trigger as well. Let's go ahead and slide these batteries on here. I'm going to have the 3 amp hour 12V on the 1/4", and I'm going to put my larger 5 amp hour 12V on the 3/8 drive. Since they are ratchets, you will hear that clicking sound when we're applying the trigger. And max RPM on the 1/4" drive is going to be 250 RPM. And on the 3/8 drive, the same thing, 250 RPM here as well. You can see here on the LED, it's shining from right ahead of the trigger onto the fastener area to give you a little bit of light. Obviously, that's going to get blocked a lot of times, but again, not looking for this to be a flashlight by any means, but it does aid in at least applying a little bit of light to your work area. Now, length on these tools, we'll go ahead and weigh them with the battery. And on the 1/4", so the DCF504, you're looking at right at 12 3/4 inches from the tip of the tool all the way to the back of the battery. And I think they claim 12 inches without the battery. And then on the 3/8 drive, you're looking at right at 14 inches for the 3/8 drive. Now, as far as width of the tool, let's start up here with the ratchet head. And we'll look here, and let's go to inches. There we go. And you're looking at just over an inch. So a little under 1.25 inches on the 1/4" head. And on the larger 3/8 drive head, it's going to be a little over 1.5 inches, so 1.55 inches on the 3/8 drive head. As far as the main body of the tool, right at 1 3/4 inch, and again, that's going to be on both of those. And then back here at the battery, obviously that's going to depend on what battery you're using, but the 12V shouldn't change much, so it looks like 2.5 inches on the width of the battery. Now let's get a weight on these. And without the battery, the 3/8 drive is going to weigh 2 pounds, 2.2 ounces. And without the battery, on the 1/4 inch drive, 1 pound, 10.9 ounces. So 1 pound, 11 ounces. And let's throw the 3 amp hour on here. 2 pounds, 3.5 ounces. And then let's throw the same 3.5 or 3 amp hour battery on the DCF503. And you're going to get 2 pounds, 10.5 or 2 pounds, 11 ounces on that one. So still under 3 pounds for the tool and the battery. And by the way, I would definitely run this slimmer pack 3 amp hour battery on that ratchet versus this big 5 amp hour. Now we may see a big power difference, but I doubt that. But we will find out in just a moment. But you see how much better this battery here fits this tool rather than this big 5 amp hour hanging off the back here. So a lot slimmer of a tool with that 3 amp hour. Now something else I did not know about these XTREME ratchets from DeWalt is that they are made in Mexico. I thought they were made in China, but the website says country of origin is Mexico. So the DCF503 and the DCF504 are both made in Mexico. We're over here at our test rig and we're going to test the torque capabilities of the DCF504 and the 503. Now the DCF504, which is the 1/4 inch drive, I believe they claim has 40 foot-pounds of torque, and the DCF503, which is a 3/8 drive, they claim to have 60 foot-pounds of torque. So we're going to torque these fasteners. We're going to start at just 25 foot-pounds and jump up 5 pounds each. So 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55. If we need to go another round, we can definitely do so. So we're going to take our torque wrench and start at 25 foot-pounds. And we're going to start at just 20 foot-pounds. I believe I said 25, but let's start at just 20. So 21.3. So we have the torque set now, starting at 20 and going 5 pounds up each time. So 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. We will start with the 1/4 inch drive. Now I do have an adapter on here. This should not suffer anything like an impact wrench might. This is just a ratchet, so we shouldn't suffer any torque losses, but they don't have a 24 millimeter socket in a 1/4 inch drive. So let's see here, I've got a full charge on the 3 amp hour 12 volt battery. We'll make sure we're in reverse. And here we go. 20 foot-pounds. Nothing. So it's trying to start, but it's got some electric cutout and it realizes it's not moving, and so it's just stopping the tool. Let me get a different angle on this. Let's turn this a little bit so that you can see this marker. So you see that marker there, and I purposely have the tool just against the surface, and I'm going to pull the trigger. And there, now it broke it free. So now we're going to move on to 25 foot-pounds. Okay, we're good there. Now 30 foot-pounds. Try it again. There. Okay, we got 30. Now 35 foot-pounds. One more try. Another try. Another try. So again, it's got some electric cutout that if it doesn't start moving, it's going to shut the tool down because it's not an impact wrench. And I've seen most or all of the cordless ratchets have that built-in kind of a safety mechanism. But you can see at just at, let's see, 20, 25, 30. So at 35 foot-pounds, Now if I get off and get a run at it, it'll break it free. See, if I start running it and shove it on there, and now here we go to 40, and again, it just shuts right off. But if I get a run at it, there, now to break it free. And really, it'll break free a lot more than that if I get a run at it. Well, maybe not. There we go. But I wouldn't recommend doing that with a ratchet. My thing on these, when you get in those situations, is just the ability for this ratchet to be able to handle some manual input, if you will. So, in other words, you're here, and I need to break that free to be able to manually do that. And I'm fine with that because I don't believe these are impact wrenches. They're not impact wrenches. They're nut runners. They're made to run nuts on and off and not just be an impact wrench that's beating on it. Now, yes, I do want some torque, but I don't think massive torque is important on these ratchets. Anyway, so I would call this at 30-35 foot-pounds, only 1/4 inch drive. Again, they claim, 40 foot-pounds. That doesn't bother me that it's not hitting that mark. I'm sure if we ran this on, running and tightening, maybe it would trip the 40 foot-pound, surpass that or at least meet that, maybe. But again, that's not the point of these ratchets. When are you trying to do that? Typically, it's using it to running that on and running that off. Let's throw these back on, and then we'll tighten them up for the 3/8 drive. Now to test the DCF503, we're going to start at 25 foot-pounds on this one. All right, so now we have the DCF503, which is the 3/8 drive, and we have a full battery on the 5 amp hour 12 volt XTREME. We are in reverse. Again, I'm just going to pin this against the table and pull the trigger at 25 foot-pounds. Same thing with this one. If you get it in the right spot where it has a little bit of slack, now it runs it off. Got 30. It's taking several pulls of the trigger to do this. Let me do this. Let me swap batteries. So now I'm at 35 foot-pounds. So you can tell this is not a mechanical thing, it's more of an electric cutout where it's sensing that the socket's not turning, so it kind of shuts the tool off. So now it goes. Back it off, and of course it'll run it off. So it seems the power is there. They're just, whatever management system is shutting the tool down when it won't move the fastener. So in other words, in tightening, I bet it does a lot more with power because it's getting momentum before shutting down. In this case, it's just shutting down the instant it can't turn it. Whereas if we get a running start, then it will back that fastener off the same way probably right here at 55 foot-pounds. Yeah, which again, that's not the right way to handle a fastener whatsoever. So when these are tight, just doesn't quite have the umph at the start to break those free. Takes a couple of pulls of the trigger. Again, as I said, with the 1/4" drive, I don't think of these as impact wrenches. They're not impact wrenches. They are ratchets. They're cordless ratchets made to run nuts on and off. They're not impact wrenches. So I'm still fine with this. Here's a great example of the need to run nuts on and off, however, not really needing that breaking free capability. So here's some nylock fasteners. So in other words, lock nuts that are going to have some friction all the way on and all the way off. And you'll see that it has no problem running this off or back on. A little bit bigger one right here. So even though it's not breaking free 60 foot-pounds, it has plenty of power to do what it needs to do in running those bolts in and out or running nuts on and off. And the same way with the 1/4". No problem. Running those nylock fasteners. On or off. Okay, and the last thing that's important to me is to be able to use manual force on these ratchets. So what I'm going to do is take our torque wrench, and we've got it set at 100 foot-pounds. We're going to go ahead and torque this fastener to 100 foot-pounds. So 100.4. Take our DCF503. We'll try to break it free. Nope, it's not going to do anything. Obviously, we knew that. And so the important thing is, can I take this, provide all manual input here and break that free without having any flex in the handle or in the body or hear any cracking or any problems? So 100 foot-pounds, not a problem. Now I can pull the trigger and run that fastener off. That's what that tool is meant to do. Now, as we expected, neither one of the ratchets got really near the rated amount of 40 and 60 foot-pounds. Definitely the 3/8 drive didn't. But it's more of kind of a quirky thing, not so much of can it or can it not, because if it broke free just a little bit, it had enough power to run it off. It just didn't want to get started doing it. Anyway, you saw it in action. That doesn't bother me. I know a lot of people think that I'm just kind of copping out on that, and I'm really not, because my thoughts on these, and I've said this many, many times, these are not impact wrenches. They're cordless ratchets. They're made to run bolts in and out. And I know you've heard me say it already. Anyway, so I don't hold a lot of weight on them being able to break free 60 foot-pounds or break free 40 foot-pounds. I want to know, can it run that on and off? And they did so. They didn't come close to their numbers, but again, that doesn't bother me. You saw it in action. If it does bother you, then hey, by all means, you've got the right to not purchase these. Speaking of purchasing, they're $179 a piece, and that comes as a bare tool, and you get a 3-year warranty. Now, we'll have links in the description to these. The DCF504, which is the 1/4" drive, and the DCF503, which is the 3/8 drive, so you can check them out for yourselves. We'll have links in the descriptions. Also, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? You can even hit that notification bell if you want to be notified. And by all means, if you hated our video, then give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.